You are going to die. Not someday. Not eventually. Not in some abstract future. You, the person reading this, will cease to exist. Your body will stop functioning. Your consciousness will end. Everything you are will be gone. And you know this. Have always known this. From the moment you became capable of knowing anything. But you don't live like you know it. Don't organize your life around this certainty. Don't make decisions based on the one guaranteed outcome. Instead, you do something else. Something so sophisticated, so total, so unconscious that you don't even recognize you're doing it. You deny death, not intellectually. You acknowledge death exists. Acknowledge you're mortal. Acknowledge everyone dies. But you don't feel it. Don't live in that awareness. Don't let the full weight of mortality shape your experience. You've created elaborate psychological structures to keep death at a distance, to make it abstract, to make it later, to make it someone else's problem. And this denial isn't weakness, isn't cowardice, isn't something you should be ashamed of. It's the fundamental mechanism that makes human life possible. It's how you get out of bed knowing you're going to die. How you build things knowing they'll be destroyed. How you love people knowing you'll lose them. How you invest meaning in a life that ends.
Warriors seeking glory,
This is what
religious
Ernest
persons
Becker
seeking
spent his
salvation,
career
modern
exploring.
achievers seeking
This
legacy.
is what he
Each era's
called the denial of
taking
death.
culturally specific
And
form.
understanding it changes everything. Ernest Becker was a cultural anthropologist who died in 1974 at age 49 from colon cancer.
He built his
most
empire
important
as a
work,
bulwark
The Denial of
against
Death,
oblivion.
was published in
The
1973.
shadow proves
He won the
that
Pulitzer
no
Prize for it
achievement is
2 months
truly
after his
final.
death. This timing matters, because Becker wrote about death while dying, wrote about how humans deny mortality while being unable to deny his own. The book is theory and autobiography simultaneously, is both analysis of human condition and document of particular human confronting his condition. And this dual nature gives the work unusual power, unusual honesty, because Becker wasn't theorizing from comfort, wasn't developing abstract philosophy about death from safe distance, was writing about death while death was writing him, was examining the denial mechanisms while losing the ability to employ them, was documenting the illusions humans maintain while his own illusions were being systematically destroyed by terminal diagnosis. The central argument is simple. Humans are unique among animals in being aware of their own mortality. We know we're going to die. Know it with certainty. Know it continuously. This knowledge should be paralyzing, should make functioning impossible, should create constant terror, constant awareness of the ultimate meaninglessness of everything we do, because death negates everything, every achievement, every relationship, every meaning we create. Death is the horizon
Naive
beyond which nothing continues,
versus
is
aware
the full stop,
participation.
the ending that makes all beginnings pointless. If this awareness operated at full strength constantly, humans could not function, could not build, could not create, could not love, could not invest in anything, because investment requires belief in continuation, requires treating the temporary as if it's permanent, requires acting as if what you do matters when you know it doesn't, when you know that death erases everything. So humans developed a solution, a sophisticated, multi-layered psychological defense system, a way of knowing death exists while not really knowing it, of acknowledging mortality intellectually while denying it emotionally and behaviorally. Becker calls this the denial of death, and it operates at every level of human existence: individual psychology, social structures, cultural systems, religious frameworks, economic organizations. Everything humans build is, at some level, an attempt to deny death, to create the illusion of permanence, to make the temporary feel lasting, to generate meaning that transcends mortality. to build something that will continue after we stop. And this isn't conscious, isn't deliberate strategy, is unconscious mechanism, operating automatically, creating the conditions that make life livable despite death. Becker draws heavily from psychoanalysis, particularly from Otto Rank and Freud. Freud believed humans are driven primarily by sex and aggression, by libido and death drive. Becker agrees these drives exist, but argues they're not primary. The primary drive, the fundamental human motivation, is the denial of death, the need to feel significant, to feel that your existence matters, to feel that you're not just a temporary biological organism awaiting inevitable extinction. Everything else, including sexuality and aggression, serves this fundamental need. Sex creates children. Children are symbolic immortality, your genes continuing, your line extending, something of you persisting after you end. This isn't about rational family planning. It's about the unconscious need to defeat death through biological continuation. Aggression establishes dominance, proves you're strong, proves you matter, proves you're not vulnerable, not weak, not mortal. Violence is often about demonstrating invulnerability, about showing you're the one who deals death, not the one who receives it. This is denial. This is the mechanism operating. But the most sophisticated denial doesn't happen through biology or violence. Happens through what Becker calls the hero project. Every human needs to feel heroic, needs to feel that their life has cosmic significance, that they matter in the grand scheme, that their existence makes a difference,
He built his empire
that they're
as a
special,
bulwark
that
against
they're
oblivion.
exceptions, that they're not
The
just another
shadow
mortal
proves that
organism,
no
but
achievement
someone
is
whose life
truly
has meaning
final.
that transcends biology and time. This need for heroism, for significance, for mattering, is the engine of human civilization, is what drives people to achieve, to create, to build, to sacrifice, to dedicate themselves to causes larger than themselves. Because larger causes offer the possibility of symbolic immortality, of your contribution continuing after you're gone, of your name being remembered, of your work persisting, of your impact rippling forward into time you won't experience. This is how death is denied, through creating significance that outlasts the significant. The hero project takes different forms in different eras and cultures. In traditional societies, the hero project was often literal warfare, becoming a warrior, proving bravery in battle, earning glory that would be remembered, dying well, dying memorably, making your death itself an achievement that defeats death by transforming it into legend. In religious cultures, the hero project becomes spiritual, achieving salvation, earning heaven, securing eternal life, literally defeating death through proper behavior and belief. The entire structure of religion is, in Becker's analysis, a death denial system, a way of making death not final, not terrible, not the end, just transition, just passage, just doorway to something better. In modern secular cultures, the hero project becomes achievement, career success, wealth accumulation, status attainment, creative legacy, scientific discovery, political impact, business empire, anything that creates the feeling that you've accomplished something significant, that your life wasn't wasted, that you mattered, that you'll be remembered, that something of you continues. The terror management theory, developed by researchers building on Becker's work, has demonstrated this experimentally. When people are reminded of death, when mortality becomes salient, they respond by intensifying their hero projects, by defending their cultural worldviews more strongly, by seeking higher self-esteem, by attempting to create meaning and significance. Death awareness doesn't lead to despair. leads to increased investment in whatever denial system the person employs, makes people more religious if they're religious, more nationalistic if they're patriotic, more ambitious if they're career-focused, more creative if they're artistic. The mechanism automatically increases its operation when threatened, when death becomes too visible, too close, too real. The denial intensifies. The hero project accelerates. The need for significance increases. This is why midlife crisis happens. Why people at 40 or 50 suddenly make dramatic changes. Buy sports cars, leave marriages, change careers, start new projects. Because at midlife, death becomes less abstract, less distant, less deniable. Your body shows age. Your parents die. Your peers die. Your own mortality becomes concrete, visible, approaching. And this increased awareness triggers crisis. The hero project that was working stops working. The denial that was sufficient becomes insufficient. And people scramble to find new ways to feel significant, new ways to matter, new ways to deny death, new ways to prove they're not just temporary organisms awaiting extinction. Some people find new hero projects, new ways to feel heroic, new achievements to pursue, new significances to create. Others collapse, experience existential despair, recognize that all hero projects are ultimately futile, that death wins, that nothing you build lasts, that significance is illusion, that mattering is pretend. And this recognition, if not defended against, can be devastating.
Glory, religious
Becker identifies two types of people, those whose denial is working and those whose denial has failed. The first group, the majority, functions normally, pursues goals, maintains relationships, participates in culture, believes in their hero projects, feels significant, feels that life has meaning, feels that what they do matters. These people are psychologically healthy by conventional standards, are able to function, are able to invest, are able to love and work and build, because their denial is intact, because death remains abstract, because mortality is acknowledged intellectually but not felt emotionally. The second group, the minority, has seen through the illusion, has recognized that all hero projects are denial, that all significance is constructed, that all meaning is invented to avoid confronting meaninglessness. These people often appear depressed, anxious, existentially paralyzed, unable to invest in normal life, unable to care about achievements that they know are temporary, unable to participate in the collective denial. And they suffer, because seeing clearly makes functioning difficult, makes the normal investments feel fraudulent, makes participation feel like lying, makes the whole game feel like desperate avoidance of truth that cannot be avoided forever. Becker's position is nuanced. He doesn't say denial is bad and awareness is good, doesn't advocate for full confrontation with mortality, recognizes that denial is necessary, that humans cannot function in constant awareness of death, that some level of illusion is required for sanity, for functionality, for building anything, for loving anyone, for getting through the day. But he also recognizes that complete denial creates its own problems, creates violence, creates oppression, creates the need to destroy anyone or anything that threatens your particular hero project, your particular denial system. Because if someone suggests your hero project is meaningless, they're threatening your defense against death. They're making mortality visible. They're destabilizing the illusion you need to function. And this threat must be eliminated, must be destroyed, must be proven wrong. Not because you're evil, but because you need your hero project to work, need your significance to feel real, need your denial to remain intact. This is why humans kill each other over beliefs. over ideologies, over religions, over national identities, over political systems, not because these things matter objectively, but because they matter to the person whose hero project depends on them. The religious person kills the heretic not because heresy is objectively wrong, but because heresy threatens the religious framework that provides the religious person with significance and symbolic immortality. The nationalist kills the foreigner not because foreignness is objectively threatening, but because foreign worldviews threaten the national framework that provides the nationalist with heroic identity and transcendent meaning. Every ideological conflict, every culture war, every religious persecution is at root about death anxiety, about defending the hero project, about maintaining the denial system, about keeping death at distance by proving that your particular way of denying death is correct and all other ways are wrong. Becker also examines the relationship between death denial and mental illness. Neurosis, in Becker's framework, is failed death denial, is the person who cannot successfully employ the mechanisms, who cannot make their hero project work, who cannot generate sufficient significance, who cannot maintain the illusion of mattering. The neurotic is someone paralyzed by death awareness, whose defenses aren't strong enough, whose denial keeps breaking down, who keeps seeing through the illusion, who recognizes that achievements are temporary and relationships end and nothing built lasts and death is coming and nothing makes that okay. This person appears sick, appears to need treatment, appears to be malfunctioning. But in Becker's analysis, the neurotic is the one seeing
warrior
clearly,
seeking glory,
is the one whose perception is accurate,
salvation,
is the one who has failed to construct the necessary illusions,
taking culturally
and the
specific
treatment,
form.
whether therapy or medication, is essentially helping the person rebuild their denial, helping them reinvest in hero projects,
He built
helping
his
them
empire
create
as a
significance,
bulwark against
helping
oblivion.
them feel that life matters,
The shadow
not
proves
because
that
life
no achievement
objectively
is
matters,
truly final.
but because feeling that life matters is necessary for functioning. The healthiest people, in conventional terms, are those with the strongest denial, those whose hero projects are most robust, those who feel most significant, most special, most certain that their lives matter cosmically. These people function best, achieve most, contribute most, build most, love most effectively, because their denial is working, because death remains distant, because they've successfully constructed meaning that feels real. But these people are also, in some sense, the most deluded, the most invested in illusion, the most dependent on frameworks that are ultimately arbitrary, that are ultimately just sophisticated avoidance mechanisms. This creates an impossible situation. Sanity requires denial, but denial requires delusion.
They are merely
Health
bone-white
requires illusion,
lies against
but
the
illusion
black.
is false. The truth that nothing ultimately matters and death negates everything cannot be lived in, cannot be functioned in, cannot be used as foundation for building anything. So humans must lie, must pretend, must create meaning where meaning doesn't exist, must invest in temporary things as if they're permanent, must act as if individual
Naive
life has cosmic
participation
significance
versus
when it
aware
demonstrably
participation.
doesn't. Becker died while writing about death. This fact haunts the book, makes it more than academic analysis, makes it confession, makes it testimony. He knew he was dying when he wrote it, knew his own hero project was ending, knew his personal denial was being systematically destroyed by cancer, and he wrote about this, wrote about the experience of having your death denial mechanisms fail, of confronting mortality not abstractly but concretely, of knowing with certainty when and approximately how you'll die, of watching your body fail, of experiencing the ending approaching, And what emerges in the final sections of the book is something beyond analysis, is the voice of someone who has lost the luxury of denial, who has been forced to confront what he spent his career studying, who has moved from theoretical understanding to experiential knowledge, and the tone changes, becomes more urgent, more honest, more desperate, more human, less academic analysis and more personal testimony. If you recognize yourself in this analysis, if you see your own hero projects operating, if you understand that what you thought was genuine meaning might be denial mechanism, then subscribe to the Hidden Codex, because we explore the structures humans build to make existence bearable, the lies we tell ourselves, the illusions we maintain, the sophisticated denial systems we call culture and meaning and significance. We don't offer new hero projects, don't provide better denial, don't give you frameworks to feel better. We just show you the mechanism, let you see it operating, let you decide what to do with that awareness. Subscribe and we'll continue exploring the uncomfortable truths about human existence, the ways we avoid, the ways we deny, the ways we create meaning in a meaningless universe, the ways we pretend death isn't coming when death is always coming. Next time, we'll examine something even more unsettling. Until then, notice your own hero project. Notice what makes you feel significant. Notice what you're doing to deny death. Notice how your life is organized around creating meaning that transcends your mortality. And notice that noticing doesn't stop it, doesn't disable the mechanism. You can see the denial clearly and still need it, still employ it, still organize your life around it. Because seeing clearly doesn't make functioning without denial possible, just makes you aware of what you're doing. Aware that the significance you feel is constructed, that the meaning you've created is defense, that the hero project you are pursuing is sophisticated avoidance of the truth you cannot live in. This awareness is the burden Becker carried, is the burden anyone carries who studies death honestly. You become unable to take your own hero projects seriously, while remaining unable to function without them. You see through the illusion while needing the illusion. You recognize the denial while employing the denial. You know that nothing ultimately matters while organizing your life around things that matter to you. This double consciousness is uncomfortable, is the specific suffering of philosophical awareness, of seeing clearly, of understanding the mechanisms while remaining subject to them. Most people avoid this double consciousness, maintain the illusion completely, never look behind the curtain, never examine the machinery, never question why they care about what they care about, never ask whether the significance they feel is real or constructed, never wonder if their hero project is genuine transcendence or sophisticated denial. They just live, just pursue, just achieve, just build, just love, just participate, without the burden of seeing how it works, without recognizing the mechanism, without knowing that the meaning they experience is defense against meaninglessness. And they're happier, functionally healthier, more capable, more productive, more successful by any conventional measure. Because their denial is intact,
seeking glory,
because death remains abstract, because they haven't made the mistake of looking too closely at what makes life possible. But you've looked, you're here, you're reading this, you've already begun to see, and you can't unsee, can't unknow, can't return to naive participation in your hero project. Can only proceed with awareness, with recognition, with the uncomfortable double consciousness of employing denial while knowing you're employing denial. This is the curse of clarity. This is what Becker experienced. This is what anyone experiences who examines death honestly, who become simultaneously more honest and less functional, more aware and less capable, more truthful, and less happy. Because happiness requires denial, requires illusion, requires taking your hero project seriously, requires believing that what you're doing matters cosmically when you know it only matters personally, when you know that personal mattering is just mechanism, just defense, just sophisticated avoidance, just the lie we create to survive life. Becker believed that despite everything, despite the denial, despite the illusion, despite the futility, humans should still pursue hero projects, should still create meaning, should still act as if life matters, not because it objectively matters, but because we need it to matter, because functioning requires investment, because love requires treating people as if they're cosmically significant when they're biologically temporary, because building requires acting as if what you build will last when you know it won't, because living requires pretending that living is worthwhile when the honest assessment suggests it might not be. This isn't hypocrisy. This is necessary self-deception. This is the only way consciousness like ours can exist in reality like this, aware of mortality, aware of meaninglessness, aware of the ultimate futility, but acting as if unaware, investing as if things matter, building as if things last, loving as if people are eternal, creating significance as if significance is real. This is the human condition. This is what Becker documented. This is the denial of death, and recognizing this changes your relationship to everything, to your ambitions, to your relationships, to your beliefs, to your fears, to your hopes. You see them differently. See them as mechanisms, as defensive structures, as sophisticated ways of not thinking about death. Your career suddenly looks like hero project. Your relationships suddenly look like significance-generating mechanisms. Your beliefs suddenly look like frameworks providing symbolic immortality. Your goals suddenly look like ways of proving you matter. Your whole life suddenly looks like elaborate denial. And this recognition is simultaneously liberating and devastating. Liberating because you see clearly, understand the machinery, recognize what's happening. Devastating because seeing clearly doesn't free you from needing the machinery, doesn't let you function without the hero project, doesn't make living without meaning possible. You just see that the meaning is constructed while remaining unable to live without it. You recognize the illusion while remaining trapped in the illusion. You understand the denial while needing the denial. This is the wisdom Becker offers. Not comfort, not solution, not escape. Just recognition. Just clarity about what we're doing and why we're doing it. Just honesty about the mechanisms that make human life possible despite human consciousness. Death is coming. For you. For everyone you love. For everything you build. For every achievement you accomplish. For every meaning you create. It's all temporary. All ending. All ultimately negated by mortality. And you know this. Have always known this. But you don't live like you know it. You live like you don't know it. Like death is abstract. Like death is later. Like death is someone else's problem. You invest in temporary things as if they're permanent. You love mortal beings as if they're eternal. You build things that will be destroyed as if they'll last forever. You create meanings that death will erase as if they're cosmically real.
Warrior seeking glory,
and this isn't
religious
stupidity,
person seeking salvation,
isn't weakness,
modern achiever
isn't
seeking
something
legacy.
to overcome.
Each era's denial
This
taking
is the
culturally
only way
specific
consciousness
form.
like yours can exist. The only way awareness like yours can function. The only way mortality like yours can be lived in. Through denial,
He built his empire
through
as a
illusion,
bulwark
through
against
sophisticated
oblivion.
psychological defense
But the
mechanisms
shadow
that
proves
keep
that
death
no
at
achievement
distance,
is truly
that
final.
make the temporary feel lasting, that make the meaningless feel significant, that make the mortal feel eternal. This is what Ernest Becker spent his life documenting. This is what he experienced directly when his own death became concrete. This is the lie we create to survive life, the denial of death, the necessary illusion, the functional delusion, the sophisticated avoidance, the thing that makes everything else possible, the thing that makes waking up possible, the thing that makes loving possible, the thing that makes building possible, the thing that makes continuing possible, despite knowing, despite awareness, despite the certainty that everything ends, despite death.